Hi guys, this is gonna be my second Unity 3D tips and tricks video. This one, if you see my first one, is gonna kind of go along with it because it's still working with a bow and arrow, and it's still focused on the arrow. Uh, the problem I'm gonna been running into is, or the problem I'm trying to solve, is the arrow sticking properly. Now, I'm gonna play this. I'm able to shoot arrows. I got my power meter up here to just shoot an arrow. As you look, when an arrow hits a wall, it's gonna stick, and it's going to it works pretty well right there. But I'm gonna come over here. These two cubes, the cube on the top has a rigid body attached. So if I shoot this really powerful into it, the box moves, but the arrow stays up here, where the arrow should have stuck into the box. So I'm gonna show you my code, and we'll go over what's going on here. So basically in this code I have fly time, which is basically a time limit on how long the arrow can fly. So let's say a person shoots an arrow off the map. If it's off the map for 10 seconds, I'm just going to delete the arrow. I don't want that floating around and slowing the game down. Then what we care about here is this on collision enter. What happens when we hit something? Well, first we make sure that we're flying, and then if we're flying, we set it flying equal to false. Then the important part is right here. I find where the contact happened, where the collision has occurred, and I set my position to the contact point. And I set my collider to trigger, because eventually later in the game I want to be able to pick up arrows, but I don't want to collide with them. Um, like I don't want it to collide with walls and stuff like that. So what I thought, my first solution to this was pretty simple. All I thought was, what if I just take my transform, that parent, and set it equal to collision, not transform. So that way I'm taking my the arrow and childing it to whatever it hit. So let's go see how that works. And remember, none of these solutions. This isn't my final solution, and if you could think of a better solution, please do share. I would love to hear about it and discuss what might be wrong with mine. But let's see if this works. I'm gonna power it up and fire it, and it sticks in there. It's gonna move with the box. The first one was kind of sloppy, but yeah, it's gonna move with the box, and that's working pretty well, right? Well, let's look at the problem comes when we try to shoot it into a wall. What just happened? Oh, there's our arrow. It's huge. Why is this happening? Because when we child it to the wall, it gets rescaled with the wall. So our arrow has a scale of 111, and that wall has a scale of I think it's like 25 wide or 50 wide. So our arrow now becomes 50 wide and gets rescaled. So this childing thing is not going to work because the child just gets scaled based on the parent. So this is how I solved it. And like I said, you should try to come up with your own solution because it will really help you learn if you do that. But here's my solution. Basically what I did is, everything worked with the childing except scaling. Scaling was our issue. So what I decided to do was I was going to create a new game object. And I'll call it anchor. I'm going to say equals new game object. And I'm going to name it arrow anchor. And on the next, what I want to do next is I want to now take this newly generated anchor. I'm going to set it to my current, to the arrow's current position, and also rotation. So it's going to be position. Just that transform that position. So it's almost like childing the anchor of the arrow itself, but instead we're creating an empty game object to child instead. So now we just need to anchor dot parent transform dot parent equals the collision transform. So the object we transformed with, we're going to create this anchor. We're going to set its position and rotation equal to our arrow. Then we're going to child it below the object we hit. This will cause, what was happening with the rigid body to keep happening, but it'll be the anchor moving, not the arrow. And then I already have it created. I got this global variable here. I'm just going to say this dot anchor is equal to our newly created anchor. So now we have this anchor, and it's going to move just like the arrow did on the rigid body. It's going to rotate and move with it exactly like the arrow would. But that's not going to do anything for us because the arrow's still not moving. So what we need to do is we need to come back up to the update function. Basically what I'm going to say is if it's not flying, so if this is flying, returns wall, so we go here, and else if, just to make sure so we don't run into errors, this dot anchor is not equal to null. So if the anchor is set, let's run up my brackets here. So if it's not equal, so null, all we have to do is anchor, not transform, or no, sorry, it is a transform, so position equals, no, I messed it up, sorry, this dot transform, we want to change the arrow's transform, position equal to anchor, and then this dot transform dot rotation is equal to anchor dot transform dot rotation. This will now set the every frame the arrow is going to be set to the same rotation and position as the arrow. Obviously that's what's happening. What this basically is doing, it's basically childing the arrow under the rigid body that it hits, but it doesn't affect scale. That's how we're stopping scale from getting affected. So I'm gonna play and just prove to you that it works. Oh, we got oh yeah, I gotta set this to transform. There you go. Alright. And we play. Just to show it's still gonna work here. Boom. It holds on pretty perfectly to the rigid body. Yeah, and it's also going to stick into the walls because it's going to child underneath that wall, but it has an anchor. If you look right here, we have these arrow anchors. If I go to my scene, the arrow anchor is in there, and it's right where that arrow is. So yeah, so that's how I solved this. I would love to hear if you have a different way of solving it, or if I did anything wrong, please let me know. I'm always willing to learn, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Bye.